Welcome to Winning Begins at Home. I'm Randy Gravitt, and it is our last day of the countdown to summer. We're about to be out of the month of May here, heading into June, and the kids are out of school. Graduation has happened. The pools are open. Everybody's having a good time. And I want to give you one more thing this week that I think you can focus on as you go into the summer. This one might be as important as anything we've talked about all week, especially for some of you who may be tired right now, exhausted, you're emotionally depleted. There's something that you need maybe more than anything else right now, and I want to give it to you today. So let me review real quick. We had 4 gauges. We talked about just an ability to be able to assess ourselves emotionally and physically and relationally and even spiritually. I think on Tuesdays when we dropped that, again, if you missed any of these episodes, go back and check them out. A couple of days ago, we talked about these 3 books. I gave you a little bit of a summer, some summer reading. We said, let's read something together that would be relevant. You get to choose what that is. Choose something that is maybe old. And I gave us a little 50 years or older. My book, I think, was 1949. I'm reading a book that's The Hero with 1,000 Faces, which I'm excited about that one. I think it'll be pretty fascinating to read that book. I've heard it's good. So we'll see what happens. And then the third one, read a fiction book, something that you might not normally read. Now, if you read a lot of fiction, choose another category. You get to decide what you do. Then yesterday, if you're still with us after yesterday, I'm proud of you, because yesterday we talked about something that most people don't talk about on these kind of podcasts very much, but we talked about 2 prayers that we can pray. God, help me to stop whatever and help me to start whatever. I mean, well, you got to fill in your own blanks, but what do you need to start? What do you need to stop? Have you thought about asking God for help? And so I would encourage you to do that. But today I want to give you one. The one is going to be what I'm going to call one break. And I'm going to challenge you to take at least a 1-week break at some point this summer. Now, I know when I say that, it's easy to think, okay, I need a break. I mean, I think everybody's going to be really excited about this content today, but what do you do on the break? And I think for most of us, that week is typically when we think about a week break in the summer, we're thinking about a vacation, and most of us probably need a vacation. I'm not, I take your family, go somewhere, go to the beach, go have fun, go to the mountains, whatever you do, whatever you like to do, go to Europe. I mean, whatever you got the capacity to go have some fun for a week. That's great. Or maybe 2 weeks. If you're going to do a vacation, that's good. But that's not the only thing you can do with your week. If you choose to take a week, take a break, I would put the second thing under what I would call a retreat. You might choose to take a 1-week retreat, and you say, well, what would I do on the retreat? And I would encourage you to think about just creating some margin in your life, and maybe you go away, and if you what would it look like? I mean, this probably make some of us uncomfortable to think about this, but imagine a week on your schedule where you had nothing to do but to assess the last 6 months. Again, we're almost midway through the year here. If you just could assess the last 6 months, your relationships, maybe even those gauges, you just took a deep dive on those, your spiritual life, you physically, how are you doing? You may need to go get a physical. I don't know. Emotionally, how are you doing? Even think about your work. If you had a 1-week break, you might want to think about that. I know we don't normally talk about work here on the podcast, but if you had some time to just assess, and then to maybe dream about the next 6 months, and to think and to plan and to strategize, and what would a week look like if you took a retreat. I just think this is so powerful. I've done some of these in the past for 3 days at a time. And it was just unbelievable what happens if you take 3 days away out of your normal routine and give some thought to your life and your leadership. Again, I'm going to give you permission to think both. You do whatever you need to do. You may need a week to just think about your family life. Maybe you're at a place where you're going into a new season, and I've talked to some parents lately who their kids are graduating. And I talked to a mom and dad just a couple days ago. They're getting ready just to spontaneously take a trip with one of their kids. They've got some time left with one of their kids, and they're thinking, let's go off and have a trip with them. And again, you get to do what you want to on this, but I think strategically thinking about your life and your leadership for a week could just be it could be wild what could happen if you did that. And then I'll give you one other idea, and I'll put this under the bucket. It's kind of the retreat mindset, but what if you took a retreat and you did one of two things? I've heard of people take a reading week. We mentioned the books a couple of days ago. Maybe you take your 3 books and you say, I'm just going to go away for a week and I'm going to read these 3 books, and which sounds crazy, I know, and you may not, can do that. You may not have the resources, the time to do that, but you may. And I've heard of people that take a reading week and they literally will take a bunch of books, collect a bunch of books they've been thinking about reading, take them away, and just spend time reading and thinking every day about their life. And it is amazing what happens when we pull aside time. Now you say, well, I don't have a week to go read, Randy. That's crazy. Maybe you have an afternoon. Or maybe you have a day. And so you've got to make this work for your life. I get that. But what I know is all of us need a break, and I would encourage you to take at least a 1-week break this summer. Now, if you want to get crazy and you've got the margin and I say margin, if you've got the capacity in your schedule, you might need all 3 of these weeks, or maybe your vacation goes 10 days or a couple of weeks, and you're still going to take a retreat week. If you have the chance to do that, I think the more that we can take some time this summer to rest and reflect and really recreate, it just could make us so much stronger as we go into the fall. So I'll land the week there. 4 gauges, 3 books, 2 prayers, and 1 break. I think if we will take these 4 ideas this week, and you really will do this stuff, put it on your schedule, put it in your life this summer, this could be a transformational summer in our lives, in our leadership, as we said. And nothing would make me happier, because I know if you get better, the people around you are going to benefit from that. And that's what we're really trying to do here. We're trying to help people lead at their highest level, not just at work. We hear about that a lot, but what would it look like for you to build a life outside of work that is life-giving to you and the people around you? I think nothing would be more fun than to hear some of those stories. All right. Love you guys. Be back next week. All new content. Remember, winning begins at home.